Yes. I can do my screen, right? Is there any rules against screen sharing? I can share my screen, right?
No. You can definitely share your screen.
Yes. I think I have a whiteboard behind me, so
Yeah, you're still blurry though.
I can stop the blur. That won't be a problem. Let's see if I can. Let me just a little bit up. I feel like I'm one of those like old teachers, like back in the olden days of like old videos where it's
Hmm.
just the professor behind the chalkboard or whatever. It's like, all right, class. All right, so I gotta move this way more. Perfect. Oh, it's not gonna center for frame. Hey, look at that. Talented. All right. Oh, that's right. I need to stop the blur. Uncheck that. I think you can see it now, right? So if I draw, and if I say hi, like what is it? Let's just type
Oh
decisions.
yeah, it's coming through.
That's good. LNL. Look at that. It's coming through, but I don't know if you can read it.
Oh yeah, it's you're clear.
I'm clear? Oh, sweet. Awesome. That'll be great. Hey, Carter, how's it going? You got any questions? This is the right place for the decisions lesson learn. I was just making sure that this whiteboard and some other things that I can use for teaching is just working. But if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat. Or if it's too long to like type, then I can take you off mute and we can talk about it. So you can just consider this as kind of like when you're at college and you got like a little lab and you're just kind of, you know, there seeing someone kind of hosting it and you can just wait there. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going? If you have any questions, feel free to come off mute or feel free to type it in the chat, I should say. And I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Any questions, Carter, James, Jeremy? You got one? All right, man. I'm going to allow you to talk. Go ahead, Carter. You can unmute and how can I help you?
All right, perfect. I was gonna type it all out, but it's just gonna be easier. So I'm putting together
Yeah.
a page
Okay.
that's going to show details from a case entity.
Okay.
And right now I've got the page and I'm displaying everything using flow run parts. So I've got one flow run part for one box, another
Okay.
box, and then I'm gonna have a report down below. Couple questions.
Hmm.
First off, the flow run parts, I've got the input map to reference the custom case entity data structure that I built.
Hmm.
But how do I map a specific case entity on the page to the flow run part?
Ooh, interesting. How? Okay, I got to clarify this. So how are you putting the page? Is this just a generic folder with a dashboard on it, or did you with the case entity create like a custom view page, and like that's the page for all the default records on it?
Custom page. Can I share my screen? Does that
I
answer more
don't think
questions? It's all test data.
it's all test data. I don't think we
Yeah.
can, unfortunately, because we're
Okay,
going
that's
to post
fine.
this on YouTube, and we don't want to
Okay.
like put someone's data there.
Yeah, so it's a page. It's not built off of the case entity. It's a custom page that I built and then dropped flow run parts onto each part of the page.
Okay, so here's what I can do. I'm going to build a small example because I think I can kind of figure out. It might be a little bit different. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to go to screen one right here, and I'm going to build a couple of things. So let's see. I'll just use my folder scaffolding thing. Run flow. I'm going to say let's say this is Carter. I'm going to call it Carter's question. All right, I'll just generate all these folders for me. Okay, cool. So now I think I have the idea. So let's say let's see how fast I can do this. So I'm going to just create a case entity real quick. That's user defined types. Let's see, case entity, and we're just going to call this, I'll say people case. So people, we'll have a first name, we'll have a first name, last name, we will have, what else have we got? They got to be born, right? Everyone's born somehow. All right, date, time. And then we have, let's see, we'll do salary and we'll say position, right? So I'll just have these things here. Go decimal. I think we'll have, okay, cool. So we got that data structure. I'm going to create that. And while that's loading, I'm actually going to have another one of these things here. And then I'm going to go back here. I have it. Oh, gonna have, and I'll call this. That's done. I'm gonna say this is, you can call this people data, so I know where to put it. And I'm just gonna quick flow to generate this. All I'm doing here is I'm just generating some records. So generate records for testing, so I can just kind of get something to where you're at, and then you can kind of walk me through, because I think I understand the generic setup of it. And so, long story short, basically the short answer to your question is you'll probably using like the get page variable step to create that. Like, so I pictured in my head you had a report viewer of all your case entity records, and then you'll have a get page variable step that will just grab the ID of that case record, and then you can display that in your flow run part, and that's what it would retrieve. So you'd push it up to the URL from the report, and then the get page variable step would be what you use in your flow run part. So that's the short answer, but let me see if I can create this real quick. And I need a for loop for this. Let's see, I'm gonna give myself like 5 minutes. If I don't have anything in 5 minutes, I'll build something offline for you, Carter, and I'll send you a project so that you can kind of see like what it looks like. So while I'm doing this, if anyone else has another question, feel free to ask it as I'm building. And if you just want to see me build really fast, that's fun too. We actually joked in the office that there should be some type of like speed racing, except it's how fast you can build like a simple project, like one of our training projects, like who can build it the fastest. But that's it. We're gonna do this 100 times over here. Then I'm actually gonna use some of the generate random steps. Generate random. We got generate random first name. I gotta go this way because that's how my path's flowing, I think. Yes, that is how my path's flowing. So next, then we'll go to generate surname. And we'll just make the DUB and the salary constant. I'm actually gonna make everyone have the same. Let's see, so people data, that's the parent folder. And we'll merge plain text, and we'll say this is generate first, surname and first name, sure. This would just be people. And then we'll do input mapping here, and we will grab just the generate first name, surname. This one, I'm just gonna make it a constant, or we'll say we'll make it training, and we'll salary, we'll say it's 45, 34,000, sure, why not? And they're all gonna be born today, so that will be a conundrum that I'll let you guys try to figure out. All right, so now we have our 100 records. I'm gonna generate these 100 records. Boom, got some data. Now what I'm going to do is I have to create a page, and this is where I'm gonna ask a little bit of your help. So I have this as my people page. And so, you have a flow run part, right? That's the controller you're using?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put my flow run part right here, and I'm actually gonna put my report viewer to the right of that report viewer. Boom. All right, we put that there. Now I have to do this. I'm gonna create a report. This is gonna be the people report. And I'm gonna do this, and then user defined types, case entities, people, and I'm gonna grab the I think it's folder entity ID, and then first name. Is this alphabetized? I think it's alphabetized. Yep, it is. And then last. Perfect. All right, so now we got that. I am good here. So now I have my report. Close this, save this, flow run part. Now I just got to pick the flow to run because I don't think I have a flow. So let's say I want to. I'm thinking. I want
just play a form with something that says, "Hey, this is their first name. This is their last name." Because the way that this is going to be running is there's actually not the report on the page. It's going to be a report on a separate page, and then they'll link to the page with the details. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not there. I'm thinking. So we would have to. Okay, so that helps. So it's on a different dash. So it's on an entirely different dashboard. What you're saying?
Yes.
What if? But the dashboard on that other dashboard. It's a report that has that data, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because then, so if it's not here, okay. So flow run part, and then let's say so this flow run part has a button that says get record details, and let's say it populates all the data to the right.
The get record details would be on the report.
Okay.
It would be a link on the report on the previous page.
A link on the report on the previous page. So on this one right here, what I'm looking at, right? So let me.
Yes.
Okay, I will build it this way. It will be a little bit different,
Okay.
but the concept will still be the same.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to pick create. This is going to be my run part flow. And so I'm going to just show form. And then what I can do is show form. That's right. It's in favorites and my brain is just not showing it to me. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to create a new one. Show form. Say I got 1 minute. How fast can I go? Form. This is going to just say get, or just going to be display people data. I'll put a button here, and then I'll grab the text box, and we'll just say first name and last name. Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions? I know I'm getting to the time frame because if we don't have any questions, this is a great question card that I'll just keep building, but I don't want to not let anyone else ask a question.
Absolutely.
I'll keep it up. No, let's see. 12, almost 12:15. But if no one has a question, I'm gonna keep building this. All right, cool. I'll just keep building this. All right, so we got last name right here. So I'm gonna put this right over here. Let's see, and then this is gonna be get more details. I'll put this button here. All right, so in this flow run part, and then it's just going to fetch. Let's see. Fetch entities based on an ID. I'm trying to think. So we're going to have that record, and it's just going to display that. I'm confusing myself. So now I'll just get page variable. Get page variable. And the variable that I'm going to get is going to be the variable, I'm going to call it PID. The expected type is supposed to be a string. And then we fetch the. And I'm using fetch entities because I'm dealing with a case entity, right? If your data is an external database, maybe you might need to do a query, use a query integration. But in this case, for me, I've just made it a case entity. And so I'm going to grab the entity ID. Entity ID. Okay, we'll just search for it. Entity ID. Not entity folder ID. Maybe it's just folder ID. ID. That's not the ID I want. I could. I mean, I could get the folder. I'm going to change this to folder. What am I doing? Folder. And then we're going to parameterize this with the people data. So I just get people data. And then the results will be select from flow. We're going to say I need the results. But that's the thing. Now we don't have that data. Oh, what should we do? So we're going to say we'll just have the first. I'm just going to grab the entity name of the thing. Folder name will work just fine. Entity results. And actually, I'm going to leave this one as ignore because we'll get both there. And so I should always be able to get that displayed. So we'll see how this works. So I call this PID. All right, so I'm gonna grab, I gotta edit this report and TID, but this is gonna be send filter change data. So this is the part where I configure this report to send as a filter change source. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna take this ID field and put it up on the URL so that I can grab it later. So once I do this, we're going to, I gotta add this to now, a dashboard, which I have configured here. Dun, 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 dun. Big page, people page, save. So I got it here. So we'll see this. Can I switch to this? No. Oh, I hate that thing. All right. So I know what I did wrong. I did not add that filter. Let's go ahead and go back to my page. And we're going to people page, flow run part. Let's see. Refresh on any folder change contain current change. So it should refresh, but now I want to not edit the report. I want to edit the flow that I have here. So my logic is I grab PID, it takes that in, it puts that here, but I didn't filter it by that criteria. So that's why it's just. So I'm going to say equals, and I'm going to say folder ID. And then that folder ID is a constant. That I'm confused by. That's interesting. Never seen that happen. Page data. Boom. So now I got page data, which is the folder ID. All right, perfect. And then now we'll save this and test it. All right, so now let's go back to the dashboard. Can I click on this and switch it? Let me disable that left click slider because that's gonna bother me. Actions, settings, grid view, grid settings, specified, circle type, none. Yes, I know it messed up, and then no actions. And then I'm gonna make this, fix this, save, go here. Report. Yes, I'd like to reload it. And now let me refresh this. Okay, so now can I change this? Okay, so here's a couple things. I'm gonna notate it. Oh, I got a QA question. No questions today, just listening. All right, well, you're in for a show. So here's a couple things I'm gonna work through. So obviously this thing doesn't work as I'm trying to design it, but maybe this will be helpful to give you the idea of how we troubleshoot these. So I can see up here we have the PID constantly changing, right? So if can I put doodles? Oh, there we go. The Zoom's update always throws, no, that's not what I wanted. Zoom's update throws me off. So here's the PID. I'm gonna switch back to my mouse, right? So we can see this changing here. But what should happen is I should be able to see that whatever I put here should then manifest over here. And that's the broken part that's not happening, which is no problem. So what I can do now is this is one of the reasons why the global debugger exists. So I can go ahead and I'm just going to go back to my mouse and I'm going to turn on my global debugger to see why it's not behaving like I think, right? Because I think when I click on this, it should change this to be whatever the name of that folder is. So now all we need to do is let's go ahead and I'm going to clear my doodles. I'm going to enable this global debugger and I'm going to click back and then I'm going to click on these records a couple of times. Now you'll notice over here, I should be seeing the execution of that run flow part. And so we know that's not rerunning again because I would see some executions here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go back to, so if I go here, nope, I understand that. I wonder what happens if I do this. So that's the part. So we could do something interesting here. So it does work if I manually click it. So now I understand the interaction. So if I do this, and I just add something here. I might just change that form entirely real quick. So I got I think it should be in pages. Display people data. I'm just going to edit this and remove this, or I can at least set it to optional so I don't have to have data in it. And then I can further troubleshoot why that's not configuring. Pages, people data, that's there. I need to go to my dashboard. Cool. One thing you want to be very aware of with the global debugger, do not leave it running all the time, because what this does is it will go and continue gathering data of all your execution of your flows. So if you turn this on in a production environment, right, you can bring your production server down. So that's why you don't want to leave this on all the time. You just want to put it on a little bit. Once I got the data I need, I turn it off, and then I can interface with this information. So now I can see, okay, I got this data, running and going through. So now what I need to do is we got to figure out how to get it to switch on the change, because now it's only going to switch if I have this and I click on this. So I'm going back to you, Carter, because I'm trying to get more clarification on how you have it set up. So you have a form. Does it have a button, or does it automatically? The goal is it automatically gets that data from the other location as soon as a user clicks on a different record or something.
The way it's configured right now is page 1 will have a report that lists out all of the case entities and some of the fields. And then eventually I'm going to add a button to the report on each row. You'll click the button, that'll navigate to page number 2 that will show all of the details of the case entity.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. So are you utilizing like a navigate link on the row of that report viewer, or is this like a data repeater or something?
It's using the report viewer. I don't actually have the button right now. That's still something else I'm trying to figure out how to do.
Okay, well, I'll answer that question. There is a navigate link. Oh, it's in calculated columns, I think. Yeah, it's in calculated columns. If you go to calculated columns, there is let's see, image URL, match inline field. I think there is a link, open URL in field, right? And so, let's say to go over that story. Okay, in the view. So what we can do, display text, so it can be, I'll say this is like view details. View digits. I'll just call it view details. Right. So now I have view details. It doesn't go anywhere right now. So what I'm going to do, because there's a couple of things I'm curious about. So I'm going to open up my another tab. I go into Carter's question. I go into people data. And all right, cool. I got this case view here. And I'm actually curious if I can go to this in the portal view. Or does it automatically go into? So that's why we have that dashboard that shows this. I think you can do it with the portal view. Let's see. So what you could do, here's how it would work. There might be some permissioning things that we'll have to consider in the future, but essentially what you'll need to do to craft that link is, you see how this is the base portal URL to get to this record from my end. Yours should be different naturally because it's your server. So what we would do here is we would say, okay, we want to grab this. And I'm just going to open up a notepad so you can write it.
So we're not wanting to use the decisions native. It's going to be another page that has flow run parts that show forms that bring in the case entity details. So it meets our branding standards.
Same thing. Yeah. So this will work even if it's another system, right?
Okay.
Because this is just a link that you put on. So just for in my use case, I'll probably will filter out this, and this would be a variable, right? Variable name here. But let's say you want to go to another different location in the decision system. It's a different page name, right? So you would just replace this with your page name.
Okay.
So yeah. So a lot of that will still be, you can still do that through variables.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So how that will work, I'm just going to show this one so everyone can see, is I want to take this, all right? And if I go back to my notepad, where's my notepad? All right, I got this. This is going to be it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change open URL in field, URL, and then I can put this here. And then what I can do is notice that I have, right, all of this information. So now I can utilize, man, I can't talk. I can utilize folder ID. In this case, will be equal to the entity ID. You'll notice there's a lot of things in decisions that one name will be used interchangeably. The folder ID in the data structure and the entity ID are the exact same thing. So we can use those interchangeably because the entity ID of a case entity record is the actual ID of the folder because they're tied. They're married together in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this there. So that's my URL. And then what I can do is we can run the report. Yes, I want to run the report. And then we can click here. And then you can see it takes me to that location of that page. And however other variables you may need, you can get them and put whatever page or thing you want to view. So I can even do that with the folder view if I wanted. So let's say I'm going to change that again for here. Let's not run it. And let's see what that looks like. Folder view. Okay, perfect. So page name plus folder view. So I can really just change my image details instead of case view, folder view. And now it will take me to that case, but it'll take me to the folder view of that case. So run here. Yes, reload the report. I want to go see Brandon Turner. So I viewed the details, but notice it puts me on the folder view page. And this is like kind of going to your point, Carter. This is what you would change to yours to make it go to whatever dashboard and page you want. All right.
Okay, so perfect. So where can I get the page URL for a custom page that you make?
Yeah. I'll just create a custom page right now. So if I got a custom page, the easiest way to do that is you can go to, so this is just another page that I've created, and I can easily see that this is the location of that page up top. Let me use my
okay, easy enough.
Editor. Yeah, so that makes it really easy. And then you can easily see, I think the nomenclature, the standard, if you do have, because it's URL encoded, I think that's the term, it will use, if you have a space, it will do the plus sign. And so here, since I call this accounts reports, that's why it's page name assigned to accounts plus report. And so yours, if there's any spaces, it would just be, URL encoded for that.
Okay, awesome. And then, so how is the linking for the case entity going to work between those two pages? So that when you click on that URL link for that case entity on your report and you link it to the page, how does it know that it came from that case entity?
How does it know that it came from that case entity? You could find that with processing. So let's see, I'm going to go back to my dashboard report. Nope, that's not what I wanted. The linking, I'm going to say it one more time. Say it one more time. It almost clicks in my head.
Yeah, so if we were to break out the report viewer on one decisions page and the flow run part onto another decisions page, and then we were to get the URL for decisions page number 2 that just shows the flow run part and link that page URL within the report viewer, how do we know once we get to the page with the flow run part that it was coming from row number 2 in the report viewer?
Send filter change data source. Okay. So when you put it to the variable up here, right? Notice how that's changing every time. PID. So whenever someone clicks on a row, that variable that you define will be different. So in the flow, right? What I can do, let's see. Let me go clear this. Is since I always know this is PID, right? And let's say I want to, because I think I'm starting to understand your use case better. If I want to go to the flow run part, that's what I'm trying to do. Right, because this is the flow that runs the flow run part, right? And so let's say I get this ID, right? So it's going to my dashboard. Let me look at it on both ways so you can kind of see it.
That PID is the folder ID for the entity.
Exactly, yeah. So now I know when it gets it, I can easily from here, let me delete that because that's going to confuse me. All right, there's a step in the flow, right? So maybe you can do this with the button in the report viewer, or maybe there's a step in the flow. If I can spell navigate to folder. right? And then I can give the folder ID, the page name, and I can utilize that to send it from there. And so what it would look like is, all right, the folder ID is going to be, right, select from flow. I'm going to grab the page data PID. I'm just going to move this for example. All right, so it grabs the PID and then it navigates to that other folder, and then you can give it the page name. And so that's one of the things you can do is utilize this step. Another step you could do, end form session. This is a very powerful step. It has a couple of options. And so what you can do is you can open a URL. So in your case, because you're going to another location in the decision system, you may need to build out that URL a little bit more and not just supply a, here's the folder, here's the a page. And so this end form session step allows you more flexibility. You can open it up in a new window, you can open it up in the same window, and then you use the merge plain text input to kind of craft the data that you need. So for example, some of the data is you would use your base portal URL. That would be the start. That's the, your localhost HTTPS : // and then craft the location you want to send them to in the decisions portal or studio.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Is there any way you could export this project and send it to me?
Yeah, I will. It's a little bit half built, but I will send it to you.
Hey, I'll take a half built.
Sounds good. Did it right now. All right. Any other questions? Garda, if you can put your email address in the chat, I'll go ahead and add that there, and then I'll send it to you.
Sure thing. Thank you.
All right, I got a great question. So Jeremy said, why not add a custom page to the case configuration? You could. I'll demonstrate that because that's another powerful thing that you can use. All right, new email. Then I got the download. Send that one there. All right, cool. Just send it to you. All right, Jimmy asked, when you were showing the flow run part in the report that was not updating on the row change, I have the same issue. The flow run part does not update on a row change. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've not seen that. I'm going to share my screen and let's troubleshoot that a little bit more since we got some time. Let's see. Perfect. Because yeah, what I was wondering is on that, I'm actually wondering if that one would, let's see. I wonder if that's a page thing. Behavior, let's see, on row. Refresh on report row selection on treat. I'm just going to check on everything. View. Let's try this. So I'm going to save this, and I'm actually going to save, and I'll just open up a new tab. All right, and then I'm going to, let's go to this dashboard. Oh, I broke it. I forgot. Let me go back and fix it. Alrighty. Fetch entities. No results. And I think I said the folder. Yeah, I said folder. Folder. We're going to scroll down, grab the parent folder ID, pick up this, and we're going to go to people data. That's what we want. Criteria, folder ID. We're going to click OK. We're going to grab, right? That's fine. Yeah, that came back. That's good. I think that's good. I don't think we mapped that in. That's so interesting. It just does a constant. And we're going to go to page data. That's what I want. Save this. And now, once I save this, now that it will be back to the way it was. And, oh, wait a minute. Go back. Go back. So that does change. Any results? First, folder name. Because I'm wondering. Save this, switch this, go through here. All right, so now it's not even pulling that. So let's go ahead, turn on my handy dandy global debugger. Turn it on. I'm actually going to refresh this. Oh, now it works. That's that. Okay, so it runs that, it gets this, and displays that. But I wonder what makes me think is I wonder if there's a way that I can trigger get report ID from selection bus, behavior, enable. Yeah, I mean, you could auto refresh on any contained, show default list, loading, on any folder contained. Report update for report key update for folder, report keys. Show default parameter list. Okay, so it still doesn't update that flow. How to tell that flow run port? I'm going to put that in the support chat. Because I'm sure there's someone who's done this. Let's see, anybody? How to auto update a flow run part based on a report selection change. I think someone will know this. Because that's the main thing here is I'm not sure why this doesn't trigger. I know essentially what we're missing, right, is we need some type of way to do a some type of folder change event. That's essentially what this is. But I don't think there's an easy way in the report view to trigger that. Let me turn this off because I don't need it anymore. Because that's what's preventing this thing from running because it pauses that. Let's see. I don't think there's any way where that could happen. Wait, there's one thing I could check. Let me go back to here. View base content, view, drill down, it's fine. Default mode. Setting persistence, grid style, it's just the grid style. Selection bus, behavior, navigate action, portal action, figure create, so you can create a selected row flow for more detail or for more flexibility. Tree, date. Yeah, I'll see what I get and I'll share that with you, Jeremy. But as we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the changing of the custom process page. So the cool thing, so one of Jeremy's comments when I was talking about the other use case is asking about utilizing the custom page on the case configuration folder. I think probably in Carter's case, I think they have a separate dashboard that's going to display this to users and then they can navigate to the specific one. So that's why theirs might be different. But I think Jeremy has a really cool talking point though, that whenever you use data structures that are case entities, flow execution extensions, folder extensions, things that have folder behavior, right? I'm going to share this this document and talk through it because it's a very update differences between data structures. I know that it was for a lot of people, and especially for new users, this thing's very confusing. But essentially what this does is it's a chart that just says, hey, which data structures have which types of behaviors? Why is it important to know which types of behaviors? Well, if you're thinking about dashboards and having your own custom presentations for end users when they look at their record, that's when you want to think, I may want folder behavior. And so what that will lead you to is that will lead you to look at utilizing one of these three data structures right here. And the main reason why is because they have this the decisions folder behavior, right? They're the only three that have it. So that's why if you want to be able to create that custom view page that Jeremy's talking about, you have to use these three. Okay, we get that. So now I'm going to remove my doodles and I go back here. Where is the setting where one would change that? Well, one would change that by going, it's in a couple of different places. For the setup for flow execution extensions, you actually, I'm just going to open up this flow, setup process folders. So whenever you're using the flow execution extension, right, you'll have a place where you can use extension data, and then you can say, I want my own custom process view. And then you can pick the page or whatever the thing you want, and then that's going to be that new default process view page for that setup process folder record. But this is how you do it for setup process folders, aka flow execution extensions. What's the way we do it for the other two, right? Case entities, right? There's three: flow execution extensions, folder extensions, case entities. What's the way to change the page for case entities and folder extensions? So for case entities specifically, and since I already have one with Carter's project, I can easily show this, is that in the data structure itself, right? When I edit the defined data structure, I think it's here. I could be wrong. I always forget this and it throws me off. That's you want to make sure you click on the structure type name for the type name properties. And then right here, then you can pick your own default page name, right? And so you can pick that here. And once you define that page that you want, that's what it's going to load from. Now, where does this thing source its page names from? It sources it from the configuration folder. So if I created a new page, right? Create page, and I wanted to add, create page / dashboard, and I create that here, and this is my new page. Let's go ahead and just create one real quick. And let's say I just want it to be, I'm just going to make it a form tile. Boom. Big form tile. And it's going to say create new form tile, people form. Right. And all it's going to show is it's going to show first name. That first name. It's going to show last name. All right. And we'll say, I'll just call this first. And I'll call this other one last. And boom, and I can display my data there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, put it here. Okay, I got my form tile. That's what I'm going to have. And now what I can say is I can edit my flow for this. And now what I particularly want is I have to get the first name and last name, from something. And so I can utilize that get page variable step to change the look and fetch the data that I need to populate that page. So I'm going to pause with this. I'm just going to show how this manifests itself. So I called this my new page. If I want my records, right? So if I click on this to show, oh, perfect. So it defaults to the custom one that I created, right? So now when I click on any one of my data, any data that I have here, it automatically switches to this new view that I have. Now, let's say I don't want this one, but I still need this one created. That's no problem. All I need to do is go back to my data structure, edit the defined data structure, click on this white space right there, right next to it, click on this. And then I'm going to say I want the default page name to be case view, right? And then when I save this, it will compile, save that default view. And if I go back to this, we should see now it chooses the case view over the default one that I've created. So that's how you change it for case entities. folder extensions is very similar to case entities. When you create a folder extension, it will be like the settings will be manifested within the configuration folder when you create the page, and then you have to edit the structure type name exactly the way we did it with case entities, and you can pick which one you want over the other ones. So that's the story behind that one. And also, as we were talking about that, I just got an answer from that. Let's see. So let's see. It looks like one of my colleagues encouraged me to reference the page, not this one, a dashboard. And then I think I had one that was going to the report, right? Didn't I? Oh, I guess I didn't. That's okay. We'll go back to the page right here and open it. Said that it probably should be one of these three things, but I think as we saw, that didn't trigger it. So that's what they advised. Oh, I had an idea. The other thing to do. The other thing, so we change the settings on that. If we utilized a form tile, would that make a difference? It's like, no, I don't think that'd make a difference. I mean, you could maybe leverage an active form flow, but I think that keeps going down into the, it's like, it's basically using a jackhammer for a nail when a hammer would do just fine. Let's see, where's going back to the page. Page. All right. Any other questions? View details. All right, we got that part. Oh, I had an idea of something. I'm trying to bring it back. So we did the run flow part. We got this here. That's the get page variable step to get variables from pages we need. Another thing to be aware of sometimes. I have a simple tile that works as expected, just not a run flow part. Yeah. No, I got you. Oh, that's what it was. I wanted to check documentation because I'm sure there's documentation on the flow run part. That maybe, here we go, flow run part. Maybe there's something I can read about it. As a flow, okay, warning, the flow run part is intended for use with flows containing forms only. Flows without forms should not be used. Makes sense? As the flow runs on page load and then reruns upon completion. Flows without forms, wait, I had to read that slowly. As the flow runs on page load and then reruns upon completion, flows without forms used on a flow run part will run on a continuous loop. Got it, okay. So this is a page component. How come it has update on row selections? Hold on, this one's different. So this update on report row selection. So this might help. I didn't see that on that flow info. So let's go back to mine. That's why documentation is great. All right, so I go here. I go back to my dashboard. Wait, hold up. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold up. All right, here we go. So we're here. I have to go to the page. Let's go flow info. Is that different? Well, is there another document? Like, I don't have this update row selection. You see that? I think I'm on.
I do. This article hasn't been updated in a while. There might be a difference in the versioning.
I'm also on an old version, so that could be yours. Might be on a recent version. So, because I think our most current version is 8.17. No.
Yeah, but this document wasn't updated since July of last year of 2022.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So it may need to be updated. Okay.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
That'd be great. All right, cool. So, all right, so I'll find. I'm actually gonna see if that checkbox was deprecated with my internal team. Because it sounds like, Jeremy, that would be the solution to sweet. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have a special guest. Let's see. I'm gonna grab the meeting info. Then I'll share my screen again so that we can take a look at this. Because I think I must have misconfigured something. So something I've got a report that's outputting the ID for the selected row. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think it just clicked what he did. So he has, wait a minute. I think, okay, so hold on, read this. I've just set up something in the report. It was outputting the ID. And the folder aware flow grabs it. Hey, Noah, how's it going?
Oh, I was muted. Hey, Jared, how's it going for you?
Good. Pretty good. I'm actually excited to learn this. So I'll show you what I got. Here's my page. Here's what it looks like. So what I wanted is basically whenever I have this row, if I click on any of these rows, it should change the first name of it. The last name I've not configured. And it just runs on like refresh.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's something I'm missing with the configuration. Where do you want to start first?
I guess show me the flow real quick. I'm curious about that, what it's doing.
All righty.
Okay, so you do have it getting the page variable.
Yeah. Fetch it, filter it, so I can get it.
So what's the PID? Where's that coming from?
PID is coming from the top right here. It's the send filter change source on this report to the right.
Gotcha. All right. Then I guess let's look at the page now.
Oh, the page? Gotcha.
So that flow looks fine.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to close this. Alrighty.
Show me the flow run part.
Okay. Behavior.
And then, in behavior. Right. Try turning all the other ones off.
Turning all the other ones?
Yeah, I wonder if that's conflicting somehow.
Just that?
So yeah, let's just have it on report row selection. And then let's look at the report.
Okay.
So edit that.
Alrighty.
All right, and then click on the entity ID column at the top.
Got you. Boom.
And then so you're outputting that as PID. Okay.
Right there.
Cool. All right.
I am on version 8.14. I don't know if there's a difference.
Everything looks configured the same as mine.
Okay.
So you might want to try and troubleshoot this, and you might have to put in a DT for it.
Okay. Gotcha. Can you share your screen and show what it should look like working?
So I haven't disabled that slider yet. That pops in from the right. You know, that thing we added at some point
Oh,
where like it slides in
oh.
that panel from the right.
Gosh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I would just love for everyone on the call to be able to see like what it looks like working. So I'll stop
Yeah.
my screen share.
All
I think I'll
right.
promote you to
Share screen. Screen 2 looks like that's the right one. So you can see my decisions here.
yes.
All right. So yeah, if I click on admin, let's grab the administrator account ID there. Click on that one, it's grabbed that ID.
Fascinating.
Click on that one, it's grabbed that ID.
What's the setting on it?
Pretty much exactly what I just had you check through because I've got my flow run part, behavior, it's on report row selection. Flow ID is getting the page variable and passing it to this form. And then this is folder aware, but if yours wasn't folder aware, then I
Mine
wouldn't
is
expect.
not.
Interesting. I would expect page variable ID to just not work or to throw an error, but you're seeing it work.
Yeah,
So I don't think that's the issue with yours.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'm sending the data as filter change.
Edit, advanced, set flow behavior. Yeah, mine's just flow. So you said it has to be folder aware?
That's what I've had to do to get that page variable step to work in the past. I don't know if they've updated that to work in other kinds of flows or not.
I'm just trying to find it. I'm gonna share back my screen so everyone can see what I'm trying to look at. So long story short, so folder behavior. I mean, different designer elements can have different behaviors, meaning they get different like inputs, outputs, and like expectations and how they behave or act in the environment. So my run flow part, when I go to edit and I go to advanced, I can set and change the flow behavior after the fact has been created. So I'm going to set this flow behavior, and you said it was folder.
Yeah, I think it might say user action in this version. It'll say user action and then folder aware. Yeah, user action.
Oh yeah, this one on the bottom. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I see. So let me set this, and I wonder if this now will work. Maybe that was the missing ingredient. I'm gonna go back here. Yes, it was changed. Yes. I know.
No.
Nope,
Okay, that's what I was expecting because we were seeing the step work.
Gotcha. So it wasn't that. Okay.
So
interesting.
Something's causing the flow to not refresh, even though we're telling it to.
Gotcha. Well, I'll update my version. I wonder if it's something we probably solved in a later version. I'm on an old one. So.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending the Lunch and Learn. That's the Lunch and Learn. So I'll be able to we'll have this video posted so you guys can watch and see what we've gathered. So thank you so much for attending. I'll see you guys next time.